When dividing with decimals, it's the same as regular division. In fact, I'm going to use short division here. 5 goes into 37 7 times, goes into 35 with 2 left over. The 2 left over mean I've got 25 left to go. 5 goes into 25 5 times. The answer to this problem is 0.75 because this decimal point comes straight up. 3.75 divided by 5 is equal to 0.75, which makes sense. Each one of them would be less than 1. My next problem, I'm dividing 3.75 divided by a half. So the question I'm asking is how many halves fit into 3.75? If I rounded this to 4, I would get a half, 1, 1 and a half, 2, 2 and a half, 3, 3 and a half, that's 7, or 8, somewhere between 7 and 8. You might even have a guess what the answer is going to be. I'm going to do regular division, ignore the decimal points at first. 5 goes into 35 7 times with 2 left over. 5 goes into 25 5 times. We thought it would be somewhere between 7 and 8, so the answer, of course, would be 7.5. And the reason the decimal point is here is over here I want to think of this as not just divided by 5 tenths, but by 5 whole. It's easier to do division if I don't have a decimal point over there. If I multiply that by 10, it's the same as multiplying this by 10. Let's think about it as a fraction. 3.75 divided by 0.5 was my original problem. I can multiply this by 10 and this by 10. That's just a form of 1. I haven't changed anything. And I get 37.5 divided by 5. 37.5 is going to be about 7.5 times. This problem is the same answer as this problem since they're both equivalent fractions. In my next problem, I'm going to divide by 0.05. How many 5/100ths fit into 3.75? You might see a pattern here. My number inside is the same and my divisor is getting smaller by another power of 10. So my answer should get bigger by a power of 10. I'll move my decimal point over 2 spots, multiplying by 100. Move the decimal point over 2 spots, multiply by 100. And I can put my decimal point right up top. It's another strategy to make sure you don't forget where to put it. A lot of kids forget and try to put it back here. You don't want to do that. Once you've moved it, it's moved. Again, 5 goes into 35 7 times with 2 left over. So 75 times 0.05 goes into 3.75. Another situation that happens with decimals, if I'm dividing by 5, 5 goes into 42 8 times with 2 left over. 5 goes into 23 4 times with 3 left over. Here I can add a decimal point, add some more zeros, and keep going until it terminates. So I had 3 left over. 5 goes into 36 times. My new decimal point tells me there's a decimal point in my answer, and I'm finished. All fractions will either terminate, which means stop, or repeat, which means keep going, like 0.33333, and I would see that right away if it was going to repeat.